All right, we're recording. You got the fire.
We're recording. Look at the fire.
You got the fire started.
It's snowing out.
I can see it's recording.
Look at it. This is a real fire, isn't it?
It's so
Do you
nice.
feel the
I
warmth?
can feel it's nice and warm.
Good evening, everyone. This is Revitalize Johnstown's third weekly installment. We're calling this episode
Poppycock.
Oh, we did it in unison. Someone's going to be impressed by that.
That was good this time.
Why are we calling it Poppycock? Well, I looked on the Cambria County Pathonicary's page, Joe, and I read the latest Billows lawsuit response to Frank Burns. On page 16, her attorney responds that Burns has claimed that his remember the commercial with the scammer and her in the jumpsuit with the little
Yeah.
Her attorney's claiming that his assertion that it's humor and satire is poppycock. So today was their court hearing. Of course, did anyone go?
No one went.
We didn't go. I'm assuming Burns and Billows went.
So we did.
And then did the media go?
I don't think so.
I looked online. I didn't see anything. So the question becomes, what happened?
I don't know.
And the bigger question becomes, as we sit here by the roasting fire because it's so snowy out, is her lawsuit frivolous? I think it is.
I think it is as well.
She's suing because she wants alleged damages?
She is claiming defamation because
he called her a scammer for that $9,800 in
she's thinking
mortgage.
that people would take serious that she was a criminal or something of that nature, correct?
With the mugshot.
With the mugshot.
And because he accused her of scamming and she didn't have a job and she took money to buy a house next door with the money. I mean, there's a whole back and forth. And many of you who watched this election know that this was $1 million race.
Oh,
all the back and forth.
If you add them both up, yeah.
I received a mailer today trashing Frank Burns.
They're still trashing him.
I think there was 3 just in the last week.
I know there were
and
several.
That was by the Commonwealth Fund out of Harrisburg. So they're spending
who is that?
bucks.
I don't know.
Another one, a super PAC. I mean, who knows?
Connected to the Republican Party that's, for some reason, really out to get him.
Well, the kicker with the Republican Party, and you and I are proud Republicans, everyone knows that, they're getting the Democrats in our county just to switch. That's how we're controlling the county.
That's weird.
You have all these elected Democrats who are afraid of running for re-election who swap.
So they just switched their D to an R, and then the Republican top people in the party go, "Yay, we victory!"
Yes, our coroner, our Max Palovich, he was one. Lisa Krynock, our treasurer. I'm trying to think of who else swapped. There was like 3 or 4 of them.
That's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Well, I mean, because basically we have a uniparty.
Well, it's Vision. Vision controls both. And
depending on whatever way the winds of the county blow, who has a majority, which now they lick their finger, they feel which way the wind's blowing, and if the wind's blowing Republican, then they tell all their people the Republican, and if it's Democrat, then they're Democrat.
So we have no idea what happened with the Burns-Billows argument court hearing.
But maybe jury trial they want.
They're asking for a jury trial. So I'm assuming this will drag out probably till the end of the year. I mean, jury trials take they're expensive. They're
just the cheap. Precedence of if she were to win, you would if anybody got trashed in an election and
lost the election
then they could sue the other party for damages.
Well, wasn't Fetterman and Oz both in prison jumpers?
They did something. I don't remember.
They were every team. Yeah. So why did I don't know.
But most people see it and they go, whatever, politics.
But Renee
took it personal,
and she was upset about it.
Well, and I think the top people in the Republican Party are pushing her. And I think it's to her detriment, but I don't think they care if they damage her as well. And I think they're using her to damage Burns.
Yeah, but will it work?
I don't know.
It's all poppycock.
Poppycock.
We did have a victory this week, Joe, as I look at my list in front of the roaring fire with the Johnstown Housing Authority. They fumigated.
And they were spraying. Obviously, they had bugs as well.
People had to leave in Coopersdale. They were power washing the stairwells.
They power washed.
They're picking up garbage. So I guess the question becomes, to have a failing score with HUD, why is it taking us making all this noise for something to happen?
Why are they not keeping up with the maintenance? And what they do, they blamed the tenants. Now, granted, there are tenants obviously that are making the mess, but at the end of the day, they're responsible for the condition.
No, you're a landlord. If your building is dirty, do they blame the tenant or they blame you?
If there's garbage all over my property, the city tags me,
you're fine.
And then I go after the tenant and say, you need to clean this up, or I get tagged and I get fined. If I don't clean it up and I don't get the tenant to, I have to remove them. Well, I have to evict them. For what? Breaching a lease. So the housing authority's duty is to, if their tenants are causing that much problem, they need to evict the people who are causing the problem and get people in who aren't.
But the housing authority is non-responsive. We had to make a blow up to get a response.
They did, yeah. Which
we had to put a viral video that had 10,000 views of the condition. People had to see it. It shouldn't be. These people who are on these boards, and I'm talking to you, housing authority, I'm talking to you, Johnstown City Council, they should be like us, going to these areas and seeing it.
Why aren't they walking through going, ooh, this is unacceptable?
But they're not. They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. I put a lot on my Facebook page, folks, for our Revitalize Johnstown PowerPoint Talk of the Week. The Johnstown Redevelopment Authority, we have three stories. Story number 1 was the demolition. You want to talk about that?
The demolition of a building that
wrongful
was, oops. How do all these people, we have all these high paid redevelopment authority,
everyone loves Melissa Kovar.
She's making a couple $100,000. She's the best. Oh my God, needs another raise. We have the highest paid city manager in the entire state, right?
Oh yeah.
All these people are obviously the most proficient in their in their profession.
And they screw up.
Tear down the wrong building.
And it's happened before. This is not the first time.
Yeah.
So then when they get sued, I can hear the response now. The insurance will pay for it. We don't care.
Well, and the insurance, we the taxpayer are going to pay for their mistakes, and I guarantee none of the people involved are going to get fired.
They're going to get a raise.
Yeah, they will.
And also at the JRA, I put a major information dump on my Facebook friends. $1,500 rent. And that's what the JRA was paying when they were at the public safety building. Instead of staying where they were for $1,500 a month and paying rent, they put out $1 million plus to buy the Lincoln Center building on Main Street.
That's why your taxes. That's why your
$800,000 mortgage still left after 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
The renovations. I think I figured out it was hundreds of thousands of dollars after they paid their income from the rental agreement, just to cover the insurance liability, the utilities. There's an entire list.
So they went from a $1,500 rent
overhead
to $1 million for a building, and still $800,000 left. Not to mention all the upgrades.
But they saved the building. That's what they're going to. We saved the building. That's what they're going to say. And the thing is, it's costing us. They keep raising our fees. They have a history of acting as a quasi real estate agency, continually losing money.
They got their bond rating downgraded.
Dropped. The sewer fiasco, for those of you watching, I did not like doing my sewer work. No one did.
No. They
had the money. They misspent it years ago. They just keep raising our fees. And then when you say they're raising our fees, they go, oh, it's only $5. It's only $3.
We have
it's only $2.
Water fees of anywhere I know of.
My water bill and sewer bill is about $110 a month.
I think when I first moved back here and I started paying, it was like $30.
And the thing is,
now my water bill's like over $200.
But you can't flip the board because the Johnstown City Council appoints them now.
Yes.
No one goes to the meetings except for me and, of course, John Clancher. If you're watching this, the meeting is Tuesday. He said he would be there to give some hell. John's running for Southmont Borough Council. Johnny, we're giving you a plug. We need people like that to question the status quo and run. Kudos to you. The property tax issue. I Right to Know requested and found out that the Lincoln Center building the JRA owns does not pay its share of property taxes to rentals.
And the county and everybody doesn't care.
And because they're all their friends, they have this system. So the question becomes, why are we paying taxes if they're not?
Because they don't. Because we pay them, and they get to give breaks to all their friends and family.
And also, when and for folks, if you read my Facebook, I went through the agreements. I put them online one by one. The square footage. They would rent out one space for $1 a month, one for $1,200, one for $1,400, one for $4,500. So there's no continuity.
What's the cost per square footage they're renting out commercial space?
One was $450.
And is it on par with the rest of the area?
Probably not.
No.
And the other issue is they're not paying their taxes. It's special favors. So they're using our taxpayer money. And the meeting is Tuesday. I'm going to bring this up. I'm sure Chairman Pascarella will. Why are you comping all the progress?
That's not
what he's going to say.
Putting people in a building downtown and then subsidizing it with taxpayer money is not progress.
It's losing money.
It's socialism.
They're hoping
they're
that
taking my money.
Yes.
And they're what's the one place in there is an eatery. Good food. I've been there.
Very good food. I've been there
problem.
Too.
I think they're paying like $400.
$450.
No, I don't think they have to pay utilities, and I think the Redevelopment Authority was paying $20,000 in utilities or something.
I think it was $13,000 and change. It depends.
So
yeah,
they're not paying their own. So you're getting a building for $400 or $500, and then you don't have to pay any utilities,
and you have no overhead, and you're not paying
no
taxes.
overhead. Yeah, so that's a pretty good deal to someone on the end that's going to get in that building, which isn't open to everybody.
My argument with the JRA, Joe, has always been they don't put realtors on their board. They put people that have no experience, no qualifications, and look at the bad deals they do.
My issue with the redevelopment authority is they're not doing any real redevelopment.
No.
They don't have the city of Johnstown. What they're supposed to do is the city of Johnstown people are supposed to take a property that's vacant and blighted, run it through the vacant property review committee, and then pass it over to the redevelopment authority for real redevelopment, not pet projects on Main Street.
Well, and that Main Street corridor project is another
Waste.
animal. $24 million. I've lost count of the money. They're going to start in like 2 years if we're lucky for the next election.
There is so much money going through this town that if they actually used it properly, this place
we'd be rejuvenated.
Yes.
But they don't care. It's all about them. You know, I had that thing with Tran. I won a ruling, folks. They had a secret meeting. I'm sure you're all shocked that Vision's having secret meetings with government officials. I right to know requested the records. They denied it, and I won the appeal. So now I want to see if Tran's going to release the records or appeal it or force me to sue them.
They're gonna fight you.
You know, while we're talking about fights, this week also I received another video, Joe, from the Greater Johnstown School District.
I saw that video.
Dr. Amy says there's no fights. There's no violence issues.
When they needed when they were fighting for the extra money for the school,
fair funding lawsuit,
then it was horrible. Worst school ever. Oh, education's horrible. The children are suffering. They won the lawsuit. Perfect. Everything's great.
Amy's exact quote was, "We don't see it." So the problem is we have these fights. Anyone who's interested, message me on Facebook. I'll send you the video. I gave the video to the school board and to the DA, basically saying, "You're always saying come forward. I'm coming forward." Addressed. And Dr. Amy has not responded that she received it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did speak to several school board members, though, who did tell me they were shocked. They didn't know. No one's telling them anything. Maybe they really are innocent. They're clueless.
Their job is to know.
But they don't care enough to ask.
Well,
at least Missy, if you're watching, I know Missy does. She
know.
responds to me. The rest, I always question, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But she's only 1 vote out of 9. So if there's still issues in violence, the parents, like the Westmont parents,
they're organizing.
Patrick O'Connor. Patrick, if you're watching, I applaud you. I commend you. He's getting the parents organized. They're running 5 people for Westmont School Board. They're demanding accountability.
That's good.
They're making noise.
I don't even know what their stance is, but just
Neither
the fact that someone is staging an opposition to change things and try and better it. When people are trying to change things, usually they see a flaw and they're trying to do something to make it better. That's the purpose of politics.
I applaud that.
Yeah, me too.
I know in Johnstown, there's no one running for school board, Joe.
Yes.
The one woman who was running got a mysterious promotion at work.
Oh yeah.
For the county, so now she can't run. So now there's no incumbent. All incumbents, no competition. Shame on you. The big story from last night was the Johnstown Planning Commission. We've been talking about Mom's House now for the past 2 weeks. I went to the meeting. It's on my Facebook. You want to talk? I know you're all about the zoning. Go ahead.
Well, I was on the Planning Commission for a while, and the Planning Commission's job is to know what the zoning is, and then give a recommendation to City Council. So they passed on to City Council twice, correct?
Twice, December and
then the last one they sent on with no recommendation.
The first time they passed it, it went to the Cambria County Planning Commission, who wrote a very nice letter. It's on my Facebook, friends. I put it on Revitalize Johnstown, basically supporting the project, saying they don't have the authority or the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But they looked it over and said, yeah, you could do this.
So and then the last one they sent to the City Council, giving no recommendation. Somehow the Mom's House people got the advice to change it to an R1. They're currently sitting on a C1, and they want to put in a rec center. There should be
$4 million rec center.
There should be a thing under C1 that allows for a rec center under 5,000. So it'd be a small rec center, like when you go to a plaza and you see like a little workout area. They should be able to do that. They should have. The Planning Commission last meeting that was online. They voted no on the R1 changing. They should have then brought up another motion and made a recommendation to amend the zoning law or ordinance to allow for a small rec center in C1, and if then Mom's house fits under that 5,000 square foot, then they'd be free to put whatever they wanted there, or make the recommendation to change Mom house zoning to C2. But they didn't.
They didn't do. They were belligerent. I was cut off by Cuck Davis at 90-some seconds.
He's on a power trip.
I'm supposed to get 3 minutes. When you go to these meetings, you get a number of minutes. I was denied my freedom of speech, so I filed a complaint with the city.
Yeah.
They were aware. Remember, the city manager was there.
You already probably saw the video.
So
and saw about.
I told them that if they do not admit that they made a mistake and violated my rights and redo the meeting, I was going to take legal action to force them. So yeah. I gave them 2 weeks to respond. And if you're watching this, Cuck Davis, if you don't redo your meeting because you violated my rights and stop being a dictator, I am going to take legal action.
He really was a dictator.
He really was.
He started gaveling you.
Well, there was a fight between the Mom's House people and the Planning Commission because they were just so belligerent and arrogant to them.
Yeah, they were.
Mom's House didn't deserve what they got. So I hope Mom's House shows up if the meeting is redone. I hope they protest loudly. I hope they're at the city council meeting. You know, one of the questions they asked was, how do these people get these board appointments? What's the qualification?
Well, when we talked to the council member after the one council meeting, and I asked him if anybody's trained in planning, his answer was no.
They have no expertise.
So no one has expertise. When I was on the planning commission, the president was there, actually had training in it, and I got to listen to what he had to say and learn from him. But they should be trained in planning and zoning. None of them are.
And here's the kicker. This is a major meeting. 3 of the planning commission failed to show up. They couldn't be bothered.
They probably don't want to be involved.
Don Boudet, to his credit, he was the only yes vote to give Mom's House the approval. Don, you voted yes.
Well, and
thank you.
Don, last time I talked to him, there was another issue when we were on the planning commission, and he thinks you should be able to do whatever you want on your property, no matter what.
You're trying to create. Consistent. You're trying to create things.
I don't agree with that, but he's at least consistent.
Yes. So this is going to continue, folks. We'll be talking about this probably in the next podcast and the next podcast. Joe and I, you and I went to the Cambria Somerset Tea Party meeting Monday.
Yes.
Did you have fun?
Of course I did.
I did too. The video is on my page, folks. The biggest thing to come out of that is Doug Lagenfelder, our former president commissioner,
wants to do a debate.
Okay, a forum for the commissioners. So that'll be for all
of Cambria and Somerset.
Well, they're the Cambria, Somerset, and we're members of it as well.
Yeah.
The date for that is going to be April 13th.
You think people actually? You think the county commissioners currently will go to a debate or a forum?
I don't.
I don't think they will.
I think they'll be too scared.
Yeah.
And the real reality of it is, they don't care.
No.
If it was a hot dog eating contest,
on the trail, they'll go take pictures eating hot dogs or a ribbon cutting.
Yes.
But they're not going to actually sit down and talk about issues.
And the problem is, Doug had a good idea. The motion passed.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to give candidates 5 minutes to do a speech. Hi, here I am. How are you? Do a Q&A, have questions put in, and actually be able to meet face-to-face your future lawmaker and say, well, what about this?
Yes. That'd be nice.
And the thing is, you and I have done these in the past. Sometimes they're confrontational, but you have to be able to take the heat.
No, they've never been that confrontational.
Pascarella and I have gone back and forth twice now.
Minor, though.
But if Mark shows up, I always enjoy seeing him.
But confrontational mean, I don't mean like minor stuff, verbal argument.
I'm trying to do my favorite Mark voice. Why don't you stop the progress? Keep us moving forward.
his idea of progress is not the idea of progress that I think most people have.
So that's coming up. This week we saw liquid currency become under attack by the city of Johnstown again. Go ahead.
So they are having dance groups, which are
reviews. Those are reviews. Now, granted, they're strippers. We'll call it spade.
But the thing is, multiple other bars and clubs
in the area, without naming them, are
having them.
Yes.
And only one other that I know of has gotten a letter about it.
The one in Hornerstown, and they're shut down now.
Okay, that one, and then another one. Then there's 2 others.
And then there was Lucy's.
Yeah, so that's it. The other places who have the same activities receive nothing. The city then, supposedly the city's police, was it Miller?
Captain Miller. Sean Jones, the owner of Liquid Currency, told me, he even put on Facebook,
that they threatened him.
That they threatened with, forcibly.
And if they do it, they're going to have the police come there and arrest people.
And you know what? When you're running a business, that kind of publicity, that kind of attack destroys your business.
Well, and I have to, is that legal for the police of the city to enforce a code violation because he didn't get a permit?
I would think PCLB.
Well, not even that. That's a code. That's a fine. If you did it, he should get the fine for it. That's how the code's written. So if he's violating a city code,
it's a $300 fine.
It's a $300 fine, and it is enforced by the code enforcement.
It shouldn't be the captain of the police
It
department.
does not say the police. That's questionable. So can I get if I get a ticket for having garbage, is a police officer going to come and arrest me for it?
Or threaten you on your door to pick it up? No.
Pick up that garbage, or I'm going to put
Or
you in
else.
handcuffs, and I'm going to take you in. Is that what we come
It's
to?
excessive.
I mean, it's a code violation. So can you now, in the city of Johnstown, can you now arrest people for code violations?
You shouldn't be. It's absurd.
If that's what
It's
happened,
poppycock.
if that's truly what happened, that's the precedence.
Well, and that's what they're doing. We talked about Catherine Neck. If you're watching this, I hope I didn't mispronounce your name. She put up a great post on Facebook, all the garbage outside her house.
And it got cleaned up.
And we told her who to email in the city. Catherine, if you're watching, she emailed the city council. She emailed the codes. Within 24 hours, they had a dumpster. They had a truck cleaned up.
Good.
The problem was somebody reported her and put her in Facebook jail.
Facebook sent me a notification that
Yes.
she was threatening and intimidating
Because she said, clean up the garbage.
Well, the house is like basically a blighted, vacant house that needs torn down, and they took saying the house needs torn down as threatening.
So, Catherine, if you're watching this, I applaud you for taking the steps you needed to take to get rid of blight in your community. I wish more people would do that.
Yeah, that was good.
Shame on Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
The last topic we have is elections. Is there an election going on?
There should be. I think so, right?
I've been getting phone calls all week. People, I'm not going to go into names. I've heard about the 19-year-old who may be running for Pathonacary. I've heard about the ex-commissioner candidate running for controller against Ed. I've been inundated with phone calls about the Johnstown cop running for magistrate who may or may not live in the West End, who may live in Somerset County. Or
That's not the only magistrate I've heard doesn't live in the area.
The Roxbury one, yeah.
Yeah.
Living in northern Cambria. So there's a lot of issues with what's going on with these elections. We have a woman in Moxham running for recorder of deeds. And these people have announced, I'm not using their names, but it's just the point of all this circulating. And there's no one running for Greater Johnstown School Board but the incumbents.
And no one running for city council except the incumbents.
So what gives?
Where are all the people to run for school board and city council in the city of Johnstown?
And the county offices? Where are all the people?
Yeah.
For those of you who may have seen me, Joe and I have been going door to door. We're getting signatures. We're not announcing anything until we have signatures.
Well, yeah.
Because you have to actually get the 250. But the point is, where is everybody? Where's the interest? Are we that apathetic?
I think there's a lot of apathy.
I do too. So, do you want to have your final thought?
I don't do final thoughts.
You're the guy in the other chair.
I'm just that guy.
My last 3 final thoughts are, I encourage you all to run for office. I gave my shout out to Robin Weasel is calling me as we speak. I'll have to send her the video later. She was on the camera. Make sure you run for school board. It has to be people that are willing to care. Run for city council.
Run for something.
Run for something. Take a chance and show people you care. Because if you don't, nothing changes. And if you want to support us and want to sign our petition, we're Republicans, message us, leave a comment. We'll do our best. I do want to acknowledge the Grub Shack is opening up downtown, the old Tower of Pizza.
Good. That's nice.
Breakfast and lunch. That's wonderful. Congratulations. More good news Friday.
That's good. Just mixing it in, huh?
We have if we say everything negative the whole time, they're going to say...
You're just being too negative.
And I don't want to do that.
Okay.
There's a nice story on the news about the Galleria. The Galleria is starting to get back more businesses, more momentum. The guy who's running it really is innovative.
He's doing a lot.
I mean, and I always question, if he can do it there, why can't the city do it downtown? Why are we losing population in the whole county? And there's no answer.
Well, I mean,
there's an answer.
They make a big deal about their downtown, but there's a lot of other people running businesses all around that are trying to do stuff.
Yes.
Case in point, we're sitting in my office right now.
And you've never had a glowing article in your park ad?
No one's ever called me. I never had my article in the Tribune or magazine or whatever as a boomerang, as I am.
And you're the only chiropractor in the city of Johnstown.
My wife and myself.
Well, yeah, that's a shame.
So...
And our last good news is, for those of you watching this, tomorrow night, Saturday, there is a Mardi Gras
Pub crawl.
Pub crawl. Now, and the thing is, I don't know all the particulars. You can find it on Facebook. It's a great night to go out. People should be out in force.
There'll actually be people out in Johnstown.
Well, and that's a good thing, as we make a joke. So we want to thank you all for watching this week's Revitalize Johnstown podcast of Poppycock. Tune in for next week if you have topics you want us to talk about. People, there's an election going. Email us questions. Joe and I will respond every Friday.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.